Skegness had a 614-yard, 562-metre-long pier, which was opened on Whit Monday 1881 at a cost of £20,840 and was at the time the fourth longest in England. It was a T-shaped pier with a saloon concert hall at the pier head. Steamboat trips ran from the pier to the Wash and Hunstanton in Norfolk from 1882 until 1910. In 1919 it was damaged by a drifting ship, the schooner Europa, and it took 20 years to raise the money to fully repair it. During the Second World War the pier was closed and parts of the decking was removed as part of anti-invasion policies and did not reopen until 1948 following repairs. The northeast corner of the pier head suffered damage during the North Sea flood of 1953 and the pier entrance was flooded, but the main structure survived. In the early 1970s the pier entrance archway was demolished despite it being classed as a Grade 2 listed building, and at the same time the pier head theatre was enlarged from a seating capacity of 700 to 1,000. On Wednesday the 11th of January 1978, a northerly severe gale and storm surge which coincided with high spring tides brought disaster, and Skegness Pier, along with the others at Margate, Herne Bay and Hunstanton, was irreversibly damaged and only 127 yards of the landward pier deck walkway from the main entrance was left, with the eastern shelters and the pier head totally cut off and isolated from the shoreline. Debris from the wrecked pier was scattered for several miles around the souvenir hunters coming into the area to see what they could find. For several years following the storm, these two isolated structures remained as a feature on Skegness Beach, whilst plans to try to repair the pier and relink the structures were sought, but this failed, citing the costs as simply too high, and in 1983 the western shelters were dismantled and demolished. By 1985 the decision was made to demolish the now derelict and isolated pier head and theatre, as the building was falling into a state of disrepair, as the upper deck of the structure had been badly damaged following the 1978 storm, and although it had become a roosting place for hordes of starlings, it was considered a risk to small shipping and also to the public. Special permission for its demolition was granted as it was a Grade 2 listed building, as was the rest of the pier. It was planned to dismantle the pier head in stages starting from October 1985, and just as work was getting underway the structure caught fire and two stranded workmen had to be rescued by the Tynes lifeboat. After the fire burnt itself out, only the cast iron stanchions were left, and these were removed in January 1986 on one of the lowest tides of that year. Today the pier is only 129 yards, 118 metres long, and no evidence remains of the old pier head and shelters, but what remains of the landwork pier deck walkway has since undergone major refurbishment and is now once again a tourist attraction, though a tiny amount of the structure still stands from the sand, with a triangular sign and warning of pieces of iron present. Despite its much reduced length, it is a major landmark along the beach as far as Gibraltar Point to the south and Ingle Mills to the north.